Respected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman. And as Muslims, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us to respect our women and to protect our women.
Something about me, I'm a New Orleans native. I joined the military because I knew that I wasn't ready for college, and I knew that the military offered benefits. So I went ahead and I just joined the first branch that asked me to join, which happened to be the Army.
I am originally from Nigeria, but I grew up in Germany, Wiesbaden to be precise. I moved to the States in 2014. And I decided to join the military with my best friend because I wanted to better my life and wanted to go back to school. And also, I was fortunate to get my citizenship through the U.S. Army.
I lived in New Orleans up until Hurricane Katrina in 2005. After Katrina, my mom and I relocated to Shreveport, Louisiana, where I attended part of middle school and all of high school, which is where I met one of my friends whose mom was a recruiter for the Army National Guard, for the Louisiana Army National Guard. And so I never thought I would join the military, and closer to high school ending, we was just talking about what we were gonna do with our lives and stuff like that. And she told us that she was going to the Army, and she was telling us like all the perks and benefits, like free college, GI Bill, all just stuff that come along with the military, 1 weekend out the month and stuff like that. And so she set up a meeting with her mom for me and one of my other friends to learn more about the military. And she gave us the rundown of everything we would have to do, like going to basic training, going to HIT, learning our job, and then going to a unit and having to go to drill once a month, Saturday and Sunday, and then 2 weeks out the year. And that didn't sound like a bad deal, so we did it.
Joining the military wasn't a far stretch for me. My brother was actually Air Force. He joined when I was in 5th grade. So being on base, on the Air Force base, and being around military men and women was kind of a norm. He actually brought some of the stuff he learned home. So I've been making beds according to military reg since I was 15. So I eventually moved to Shreveport, Louisiana in 2015, and I joined ROTC in high school. So I ended up taking the ASVAB my senior year in high school, and I ended up training with the Marines that summer because that was my mind. I was going to be a Marine, at least I thought. And it was really spur of the moment. One day, walking out of a class, heading to my next class, and I was like, I got to get out of here. Something's got to change. I need some type of experience. And I ended up reaching out to a classmate of mine. Her mom was a recruiter, and they still had my ASVAB scores on file. So I told her I want to join. She said, come down. We sat down, picked a job for me, 25 youth, signal support specialist. And I picked the day I wanted to leave. I chose after my mom's birthday. I didn't tell anyone. I swore in by myself. They didn't find out I joined until I went home with a whole bunch of Army National Guard gear, mugs, and t-shirts.
My experience in the military was partly great and partly awful. Yeah, because, you know, I'm really not from here, and having different people from different backgrounds and culture made it hard for me to actually able to give my best, because even when I'm trying to say something, I can't really reflect or explain it better because my dresser didn't believe, oh, she don't understand what she's saying.
For me, particularly, I would get in trouble a lot for my hair. Every time I walked in the unit, it was something wrong with Warren's hair. It was just something I expected. It became kind of normal.
Being a Black woman in the military is different from being a woman in the military. Both come with their set of obstacles, but Black women has a little bit more. For instance, I would say they're not used to a woman that has a little oomph behind her. I would say most of my white battle buddies, female battle buddies, they're more okay, docile, but as you can see with me, I have a little more tone with my voice, a little more strength behind it. So they took that strength as attitude sometimes. Some leadership recognize it as, oh, you know, I can use you. You know how to project, you know how to show leadership. So they'll try to put you in leadership roles, and others who wants to be the dominant one at all times saw it as you butting heads with them or you conflicting with the way they want a situation to go.
In the beginning of my career, I saw something, I guess you can say I was a little green to what was going on around me. I really was just playing the game. I really was, just doing whatever they told because that's what we were taught. But as I matured and I learned the regulations and I surrounded myself with people that made every effort to cultivate me as not only a soldier but as a young woman, a young Black woman, I saw that there were some people that were not for, I'm going to say me, I'm going to speak for myself. They would say things like, if it was a man, it wouldn't go like that, or, you being a woman, you're not strong enough for this, so you can't do this job or you can't do that job. So absolutely, I'll say that. I wanted to do a lot of different things. I wanted to, I know it was some jobs that weren't for women. I do know that, but I was interested in at least trying. But that held me back. Now that I'm older, I'm just like, okay, all right, I get it.
And honestly, in the military, the things that a lot of the men don't want to do that they didn't have to do in the past, that they're making us do now, the women are better at it. It's just facts. Like, I have soldiers under me, and I would rather have my female soldiers handle the paperwork because it looks better, it looks more professional. And I can say that, hey, my soldier did this, she did this. And so they looked at to put more on their shoulders. Now, not just Black women, but all women.
So now what I do now, I strive to be better and better no matter what. And just not necessarily prove anyone wrong, but so I can do it.
I view the role of Black women in the military as a strong position because with it comes a lot of ups and downs, pitfalls, because over my time and my experience in there, the Black women in the military have a little bit of a harder time adjusting to the ways of the military. And not only the women, but the men as well, us as Black people, because the structure is different when you go there. There is actual structure. So it's not just our daily life. When we was talking, Black person, we leave out a lot of stuff in our conversation. But with the military, it wants you to be more in depth, like express yourself, like really do it in the best professional way. But a lot of times we use our emotion and it gets the best of us.
We had an issue with our leadership being able to see things from our perspective. Being that they're not women and they're not Black, they're not able to empathize or really relate to how we react to a situation. A Black man will know that the way I talk to you is the way his mom talked. the way his sisters talk, the way his aunts talk. But a white male or a white female would see it as, are you talking to me like that? Like, is that an attitude I sense? Well, no, it's just my tone of voice. Or no, it's just the way my dialect is. It's the terms we use. And it was hard for them to relate, and it was hard for us to try to get them to understand.
Most of the time I see that in black women going back and forth, arguing all the time. And also they don't see, coming from high ups, the other races, the other people in the military, they don't see where we come from, so they don't see why we are the way we are. And a lot of us, most of the time, the women are way more honest than anybody in the military. And that's why I believe women have kind of the hardest time in the military, because a lot of people don't like that.
As attitude goes, that was a whole nother scenario. For me, I had a lot of debacles trying to get my leadership to understand that in most instances, I didn't really have an attitude. I was just stating my side of the story. So that was an interesting experience, because it's like you're saying things and they don't get you because they have this idea in their head of what you may act like or how you're choosing to present yourself. So that was a task, but there are also good leadership in the military who want to see you do well, who do get you, who do understand you, and they are important because they help in issues of when people don't understand you.
There are other parts that is awful, like I said. Or there was a scenario where one of my drill sergeants couldn't pronounce my name, and I was trying to, he comes to the bay and the dormitory, and then he says, oh, Coupe, what's your name, what do you call? And it feel like kind of somebody trying to downgrade you in front of people. And that really hurt my feelings because it made me feel like I'm different, which I think it shouldn't be like that, because the military is somewhere they have different background, culture, different people, and we're supposed to be at one and be battle buddies. But when the drill sergeant tried to make you feel different, it's kind of real awful. But I was able to bypass that with other good experiences that I have with my friends and people who was ready to learn about me and my culture and grow with me.
The role of women has definitely evolved in the military. Of course, we started as not even really being technically soldiers. We were just the help. We had the help jobs, and it went from actually being soldiers, but doing the admin jobs, the nursing jobs, the jobs they see fit for women, to women being able to be infantry, be an MP, you know, be in those dominant roles that they see only a man could handle.
I believe that they're allowing us to have more roles in the military, more jobs, different jobs in the military, such as infantry, as well as we're holding more rank. You're seeing, you know, more officers, more women leading on the front line.
I do believe the role of women has evolved greatly over the years in the military. They have let us take on more responsibility and more job opportunities that they don't deem to just be for men.
This evolved because now it's not just based on a male performance aspect. Like, what can you do? I can do 20,000 push-ups and I can lift the fucking car. Oh, I'm sorry. I can do all that, you know. But now it's more based on your professionalism. Like, how can you help us more on the professional side, the administrative side, and that route. When women do it that way, the best way, they move up much faster than I would say you just come to work every day and don't really do much, but you just do your job. But it's much better now than I believe it was in the past, because women are staying in more than they used to be.
Of course, with every step for women in the military is a step for a black woman in the military. But say, for instance, in January of 2017, our forms of hair care and our hairstyles were just deemed appropriate. It was just okayed. Like, okay, cornrows are okay. Protective styles are okay. We get it now. And that was just in 2017.
Good leadership recognizes the soldiers that just joined, the younger soldiers, and they elevate them, they award them, and they make them want to stay. When you have bad leadership, soldiers don't want to stay.
Overall, my experience in the military wasn't bad. It was a learning process for me, and I learned a lot, and I'm grateful for the experience, but I would not do it again. As of January 2019, I'm officially a veteran and out of the military.
And me as a soldier, I can only convince them so much, because half the time I don't want to stay. I don't know if I'm going to stay from contract to contract because of the ups and downs of leadership. So when you get a good leadership and you can see the positive effects that it have on the soldiers, not only just worrying about them in the military, but to worry about their personal lives. Like, how is your rent? How is your life? How are your kids? That's what good leadership does. They provide the best that we need to not only be good soldiers, but good family members, because that's one of the most important parts of being in the military.
I feel as though everyone should at least try one tour in the military. You may take something different from it than what the other person may take, but I think that it can instill values that brings longevity, not just to careers, maybe even financial longevity, but it does bring some benefits.
I would tell a lot of my black brothers and sisters coming up in the hood, because that's where I'm from the hood, it's not what you think it is. Don't listen to what people tell you. Go to the military, because it has so many benefits that you would never see working a regular day-to-day job, working at McDonald's or any of these warehouse jobs. Like, you get retirement benefits, you get medical benefits, you get money for houses, money for school. Like, people think you can't go to school because they don't have the money. The military will actually pay that for you.
Like I said, overall, it is great, but everybody has different experience, so everybody say different things. But I would say, joining the military has really improved my life, physically, mentally. So I think it's the best decision that I ever took, and if I had opportunity to do it again, I would do it over and over.
It taught me how to adapt and to be ready to empathize with another person, put myself in someone else's shoes. Don't come with some preconception of what a person is or who they are. And it taught me to be a strong person. I went from being a private to being a sergeant by the time I got out of the military. But it also taught me, of course, not to be oblivious to the fact that there are wolves in sheep clothing.